What up, y'all? It's your boy R to the A to the S. Yes, Rod's here, but see what calls blog day. Here to talk about Armond Wake Up. Wake Up. Album, Epiphany and Marcus Graham. Talk about stuff I like, stuff I didn't like, etc., etc., etc. I'm pretty new to Armond Wake Up. I think it was maybe last year I tried to listen to Carol's. And I'll be honest, I was kind of biased. I heard his monotone voice, and I didn't really give it a chance. So I definitely got to go back to Carol's, whatever. Got to go back to that album because I didn't really give it a chance the way I should have. But this is my first time, hearing his music in full. I do listen to, Armand and Dot's podcast. I listened to it off and on, but once they got on 4th District, I started checking out more regularly. I did find it's a little bit of random tangent, but I find it interesting how they met, him and Dot, because the message board that they were a part of, I was a part of for a long time until it got shut down. Basically, people left. And that was sohh.com. And I'm still, sort of a member in a sense because the message board carried on a website that I'm on all the time, the Collie. I know they don't get on the Collie that much, I'm assuming, because I heard them talk about, message boards and trolling and stuff like that. And there's a lot of trolling on this hip-hop board. But I just found it interesting how they met, as well as, Armand's father is from my city. So I found that interesting as well. Like the dude actually comes to the D, and this show is based out of D. So I found that interesting. I know, random tangent. But talk about stuff I liked about this album. First of all, start with the positive. Production. Even though Doc is not CHH, I guess Armond could be considered CHH. And in our little sub-genre, I don't know if Armond considers some part of the sub-genre. It's a whole different debate. But for the sake of this review, he's a part of it. We don't really do this style of music anymore. I mean, overall, the CHH might be original music. It might be, the typical trap beats, etc., etc. But, flipping samples, flipping familiar songs, there's just really a lost art. I mean, outside of maybe like Theory Hazard in our genre, it's not a lot that do that. So hearing this album and hearing these familiar songs flipped and stuff like that was dope. It was refreshing just to hear something different. Different styles on this album. I definitely hear in the sampling style Knife Wonder influence there. Definitely some boom bap on here. The last song, which is my favorite song, Love Is, definitely boom bap, R&B, jazzy type stuff. A lot of different influences on the album, and to me it works. Now, stylistically, I do wonder with some of the album, am I missing some things? Like, is there reasons why certain songs were sampled? Like, to me, I have a sneaky suspicion it was, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Like, there's certain songs, this album is based on, samples from Boomerang, which is a 90s movie. And it got me wondering, like, well, did they sample, certain eras and things of that sort to go along with this movie? Some things are 80s, some songs are 90s. I don't know. It got me to wonder. I could be just reading too much into it, but speaking of samples, I have a love-hate. Well, not maybe hate is the wrong word, but I got a little dislike of some of Dot's style when it comes to sampling. Like, certain songs, he will just let the regular song play out and then he'll flip it like maybe 5 or 10 seconds later. To me, I just don't like that. I like to listen to beats and then maybe hearing an interview years later, oh yeah, I flipped such and such beat, or listen to a beat and like, I've heard that sample before. Oh, they did such and such. Instead of making it so obvious of how they flipped it. So that bothered me. But I know that's minor. But it did bother me. But nonetheless, some songs, like Desperation was fine how they did the Stevie. He didn't do it in that sense. But when they did the If She Was, that bothered me. The Janet Jackson song, I would have just liked if he just flipped the Janet Jackson song, the beat like he does do, regularly instead of playing the song. Again, I know that's nitpicking, but I just didn't like that stylistic. But let's get into some of my favorite songs. Nothing, definitely, saying a soulful R&B sample. Uriah, not the Hittite, but Uriah on here singing. My favorite line, one of favorite lines from this song is when he talked about like dating a representative. Those of you who are Chris Rock comedy fans, you know that's a Chris Rock line. Dating a representative, he goes into a whole, joke on that. So I like the little Chris Rock reference right there. When he talks about like putting the mask on the floor, along with the clothes, along with the void. I definitely like that whole picture of how he did that. Love Is Too, like I said, this was my favorite song on here. I think the vocal sample is crazy. The whole gospel, Aretha Franklin type of vibe to it, and then the live drums. It just really fits, man. Just very dope. You know what I'm saying? I wish a Wu-Tang member was on here, man. Next song, Have an Epiphany. Again, just the way he puts together words like implying stuff instead of saying it directly. I like how he does that lyrically, like, it says like war against mirrors, internet filters, like he's saying it, but it's not as obvious. You gotta think about it. But it's not, I'm not saying it's deep or anything like that. But I just like the way he does little word pictures. Instead of saying it bluntly, he said it subtly. And I like that in his style. But yeah, he's really good, and that's to me the best song. Have an Epiphany epilogue. This is another dope song. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Love. That was Epiphany. I'm confused, y'all. I'm sorry. Next song I like on here is Everything Perception. This definitely has sort of a Fonte vibe to it. I don't know who this priest dude is, but he's a dope rapper. Anybody know anything about him? We got a Bandcamp. Let me know. I'd definitely like to check out his stuff, man. But yeah, he's definitely dope. Talk about some songs I didn't like. Give You a Minute. Now, being from Detroit, being that we're known to started house music, I don't have a problem with house music per se, but this type of house music I don't really like. I like the Detroit vibe type of house music. This type of stuff, man, just, when I think of this, I think of, dudes and half shirts and stuff like that, man. That type of club vibe, man. It's just not the type of stuff I get into, man. Type of dancing, I don't want to get in trouble, so that's why I'm trying to speak implicit, what I'm saying? I'm trying to speak subtly, all right? But you know what kind of music that sounds like to me. I can't get into that. Tattoo, Uriah, I'm not feeling him on this one. This is an R&B song. It just really doesn't work for me. Jacqueline versus Angela. Now, I think this is some of his best rapping. He was his best spitting on here. He's really sound like he's really into it. It's not as monotone. But I just can't get the way he flipped the J beat. And it's more, again, like I said, it's just not, to me, this beat is not a rap beat. It's an R&B beat, and I just don't really like the beat like that. His style overall, like I say, he's monotone. And some says I can't put my finger on it, but he reminds me of a rapper. I don't know, but it kind of reminds me of Common. I'm not saying biting or anything like that, but just his vibe, it just gives me a sort of a Common vibe to it. But theme wise, just the way he dedicated this whole thing to relationships, that was dope. Talking about various insecurities and the type of woman he wants, the type of woman his flesh wants, and these various desires, and how he's going to treat a woman in a relationship, and how he's done it in the past, and all these things are pretty good, and how he fleshes it out. So overall, I would say definitely check it out if you like that grown folks music type of vibe. Again, he's kind of monotone, but I'm starting to get used to him. You like samples, definitely check out this album. Go to, it's Bandcamp or, however you check on music. This is I'm Tired, y'all. This is Perceivable Cost Ball and Kobe Sutz, and I'm out. Speaking of the movie Boomerang, let me pull a Eartha Kitt and do the